Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, Kirsty Runs Wild. I am here checking in for my 5-week pregnancy update. It is Saturday, March 29th. And so I'm 5 weeks officially today. So I guess that means this is kind of like my 4th week pregnancy update because I've not done the 5 whole week yet. I don't know, but today is marks that I have been pregnant for 5 whole weeks. So that's just an exciting milestone because I feel like, I don't know, you don't really hear people talking much about pregnancy before 5 weeks. A lot of people don't even find out until they're at least 5 weeks. So I'm feeling like it's more real, and that's really exciting. I'm a little nervous to take like my first bump picture because I just am like, I'm not where I want to be with my weight like to start out with, so it's like hard to like take that first picture knowing that like I might not get a bump for longer than like some people do that don't have as much weight on them. So it's just kind of like a mental thing for me. But I do want to take that picture probably this coming week at some point and get that first one in the book. So as it's because the uterus can already start to contract and expand and everything like that. So I definitely want to get like a nice baseline. So I guess for symptoms for this week, I've not been experiencing pretty much anything new other than like just the fatigue on and off that I was feeling the week before as well. And again, I don't know if that's more related to the fact that I've had to cut down a lot of caffeine, like to the 200 milligrams a day, or if it's like also part of an early symptom, which I've heard a lot of places it can be. So I wouldn't be surprised because the fatigue is like definitely a little bit more rough than I feel like it typically would be if it was caffeine. Like it feels a little different. Um, and I think my boobs are just a little bit like heavier and just kind of like firmer. I don't know if they're like bigger necessarily yet, but they're definitely like a little bit heavier, I think. No other changes to them yet. I officially missed my period, last week, and let's see what else. Um no nausea yet. I had a little bit of like a lower back ache that hurts, and that's like pretty typical with me. I have lumbar facet syndrome from gymnastics when I was younger, so like I typically got like lower back pain. I could have none for weeks and then it could come up again, and so I'm not really sure, but it also definitely could be a symptom because I've heard that people get like lower back cramping or ache. So I definitely had that today, and it's so hard to tell if there's like bloating or not because I'm just feel like that's always what's going on with me. But so yeah, no nausea yet or anything like that. Not any big differences from last week in terms of symptoms, except that, official missed period. So filling out my pregnancy book that I have. I got like a book that is um, that you like fill out for each month of pregnancy, and like, basically fill out different like symptoms you're having. They have like little activities to do. They have like little like writing kind of reflections and milestones to record and things. So I think it's super cute and I love that. So I'm working on that. Um, this week I went to the hairdresser and I told my hairdresser and I walked in and I was like, guess what? And she's like, you're pregnant. Like she just knew right away. It was so funny. And so I talked with her because I want to save money. So I was going blonde for a long time with her, and it's really expensive to keep up with. So she was really great about having like a conversation with me about what it could look like to save money doing hair. And like I'm not going gray yet, so I figured like if we could reduce the amount of times I go and, like basically not hopefully dye hair eventually and just kind of do like a lower maintenance appointment, that would be great. So she's working to like pull my root, like my brown root down with me. So we did like low lights yesterday to make the hair darker and like the root to weave in. So as it grows out, it won't be as noticeable. So I won't have to go as often to get it touched up. And I'll be able to save money that way. And maybe eventually like not even dye anymore. So, that was really exciting. I got to like talk to her about it for hours because my hair appointment's like 3 hours, so it was really fun. And I also told Priya this week, my coworker Priya, and I wrote her like a little card that said like it was like a little staff appreciation card, and on the back it said, "And by the way, I'm pregnant." And she had just gotten back from St. Thomas in the Caribbean, and she was like, text me because she's been following me on this journey and I've told her everything along the way. And she wanted me to text her while she was in St. Thomas, but I was like, no, if I'm pregnant, I'm going to tell you in person. So I waited and I told her in person, and she was so excited. So we've been talking too with the door closed sometimes because no one else obviously knows at my job. And I'm going to keep it that way until at least the third, fourth, or maybe even fifth month, as long as I can get away with it, I think. Um, so that was really fun. So those are the two people I told this week, and Zach told two of his people as well. So we're expanding the circle a little bit of who knows, but keeping it very calculated. Um, and I think I got like a calendar too, like a paper calendar. I'm just kind of like writing all the different, like just for pregnancy and baby stuff. Like I'm just writing down all the different like milestones, like when my first, second, and third trimester ends, and like my due date, and like my appointments, and different times when like, oh, I could get maybe like the genetic testing during this date, or like maybe my baby moon would be like, this is the last week I could have my baby moon, because you can only like fly or go on cruises after a certain point. So I've just kind of been like, it's kind of like my place to brainstorm too and like plan. Like, but this week I want to have like this done. Like, this week I should be calling like daycare centers and seeing, childcare centers and seeing if I should be getting a wait list or if that's insane. Like, just kind of like a little to-do list where I can put all my thoughts and check in for myself. So it's kind of like in its own place. And it doesn't muddy up like my regular personal calendar, which is already like has so much stuff on it. And it's something exciting just to kind of like look at, and yeah, so that's been that. And I've just been like kind of getting a little bit more like last night I had a pretty like anxious night in my head, like kind of spiraling about like there's so much to do and like clean in the basement, and because we live in the basement, in the finished basement, and like the nursery would be down here, but first the baby would live in our room, but like how would we rearrange our room to like fit the bassinet in here, and like what would we do? And I'm like, there's so much to clean and declutter and organize, and a lot of that's on me and not Zach because it's like my stuff, and I'm like feeling pretty overwhelmed. I don't want to do any of that stuff that I avoid because it's like a lot of sentimental stuff that I don't want to get rid of, and the second I get rid of it, I know I'm gonna want it, type of thing. And so I just am not looking forward to any of that. I know it all kind of like piled up on me yesterday in my head, and I was like, how am I gonna get all of this done? And I want it done now, but like it's all like a long game. So I tried to like, that's some of the stuff I put on the calendar too. I was like putting like, declutter this thing, or like organize like the bureau, and like get rid of the books in the bookcase by this date. So I kind of like put those dates in the calendar to make myself like pace myself, and like both make sure I'm not stressing myself out and doing everything at once, and also make sure I'm not avoiding it and pushing it till the last minute. Because I'm anticipating like not feeling well for a couple months in the first trimester with nausea, and then hopefully in the second semester having that sweet spot they talk about, and the third being so big you can't do anything. So I definitely want everything by the third trimester done. But I want to do as much as I can before I start feeling sick, because I know I might be out of commission for a while, and that can be really anxiety inducing when you've got so much to do but like you don't feel good enough to do it. So I'm trying to get myself a head start here and do some of the things I know are going to have to be done eventually. So right now this is the room. So we definitely have like a really big space in here. But yeah, we're gonna definitely have to do some rearranging of things, and I just don't know what that's gonna look like. So, but it will all work out, and yeah. So, anything else? Anything else for the check-in? Oh, just eagerly awaiting my first real symptoms and trying to figure out what I'm gonna do for eating. Like, haven't really like decided if I'm like cutting this out or like doing this. Like, no meal plan yet. Oh, I also have my first therapy session on Friday. So, at 9 a.m. with Mary Pratt out of Synergy Wellness Center in Bolton. It was okay. It was a first session, so we'll see what happens with her. But I got in there especially to like channel a lot of my anxiety to like those sessions. Just get more support at this time. So I did that too. So I'm trying to just do multiple things like every week and just tell myself that like I can't do even close to everything in 1 week. So if I'm moving forward and at least doing one or a couple of things, then that's really good. Um, so yeah, I hope to get a little bit more of like a prenatal like workout routine and food plan down pat, so I don't have to like think about that stuff and feel guilty about that stuff. But I just have a really hard time with decision making, so I don't know what to do. Um, but for now, I'm just trying to like eat a lot of good stuff on, and just add good stuff in that I know is good for baby's development. And that's been going well. Like a lot of kale, avocados, different things. It's been helping me choose like certain things, like when I go out to eat and stuff like that. Like I will just like choose something I know is really healthy. Like even though like at work I've been getting like good earth meals which have like a ton of vegetables and beets and Brussels sprouts and quinoa and like all the good stuff. So, and of course taking my prenatal vitamin every day. I'm also taking vitamin D supplement every day because I know I tend to be very deficient in vitamin D, and that can really help support pregnancy and like mood in general, and just health in general, like a lot of stuff. So doing that. Yeah, so next week when I check in, it'll be the first week of April, and I will be 6 weeks, hopefully, knock on wood. And yeah, and April 11th, I'm leaving for Florida with my aunt, uncle, and cousin. So that will be interesting, and to see what happens then, too. So I think that's it for now, and I'll see you next week. Bye.